Shalom. Before I begin this video, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Rahawa Kakwadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that continue to rule very well to this very day. Shalom, peace and safety to the hopefully elect that's continually plowing in this work and giving diligence to make your calling and election sure, in faith, truth, sincerity, and also in all charity. Now, the topic of this video is going to be entitled Israel, the Enemies of the State. All right, in which this title was inspired by the movie, which is played by Will Smith, which is called Enemy of the State, in which this is one of the movies out of other movies that show you that how much these wicked elites of the society, which are the heads of Edom, the nation of Edom, which that is the true biblical nationality of the so-called white man, in which you're going to find out that all the people that you see here on the soils of America and other parts of the world, they all have a lineage, and they all go back to the different nations, especially our nation, the so-called Negroes, where primarily the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans go back to the nation of Israel, and Edom, or the so-called white man, goes back to the nation of Edom. But concerning this topic, these wicked elites, these so-called elites, have tabs on everything that you do, everything from what you eat on a regular basis to where you go to, even to the point to where now they have the technology to where even on your smartphone, right? In which this is what I noticed on my smartphone. I have an iPhone, right? In which when you go to and fro from one place to another, for however a number of times that you do, it records, the place where you go to, and it already knows that you go to work. Like, for instance, I noticed that, when I go to work, at first it didn't label it as, you have this amount of miles to go to work, or and it'll take you this long to get to work. But since I've been going back and forth so many times, and it records my movements, it tells you that your work is this many miles away. Your job is about this is how long it's going to take to get there. And then I even leave from there and go to the gym, right? So when I leave from work and I start my car, it sends me a notification on my phone saying that you have this many miles to go to the gym, because I usually work out when I leave from work. It says you got this many miles to go to the gym, and it's gonna take you this long to get there. And then once I get to the gym and leave the gym and I get back in my car, it tells me, this is how long it's gonna get for you to get back home, and this is how many miles you got until you get there. And it tells you to take this route, take that route, because traffic is light. So Esau's got it down, man. All right, that's why the scriptures speak about Esau. The Edomites of this world, especially in this technological age, they're wiser than Daniel. All right, and there's no secret that's hid from them. All right, because they went and dug up all these facts, and they advanced in this technology because the Most High gave them the knowledge to do that. He gave them the knowledge to be able to come up with technology like this. To basically record your movements, to know what you're eating on a daily basis, to keep track of what you eat and your daily activity. And it's going to come to a point to where it's going to be all tracked by a small device, which is the size of a grain of rice, that is known as the microchip, or the Verichip, RFID microchip, NFC chip, is going to be regulated by a small device that's going to be implanted within the body, in which you see it in the news now that it's making headway into society. Now, you got famous people taking the chip. You got actors taking the chip. You got musicians taking the chip. And you got these corporations, or these companies, now they're incorporating the microchip. And see, this technology that we got right here, especially what I'm using right now on my smartphone, to record my videos, this is all just for the advancement of the agenda of these so-called elites, these wicked elites, to have complete control over the people. Basically to make us, especially us, the Israelites, permanent slaves. That's why I titled this video as Israel being the enemies of the state. Why? Because we speak against the agenda of the so-called white man, or the elites of the so-called white man. We speak against their agenda, and we prophesy the downfall of their kingdom. And what we're doing is we're bringing out the truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem El Shai, and it's detrimental, or should I say, it's a heavy blow to what they set up, because what they set up was based on lies, deceit, craftiness, cunningness, and they deceived the whole world into what they wanted the people to imagine and what to think that this world is made up of. Basically, to have this place set up as a wonderland, for lack of a better term. All right, a place of play, pleasure, relaxation, and to think that everything is fine, everything is okay, not knowing that this is a trap, this is a snare. All right, this is to trap you up in the system, which, by the way, system is synonymous with the word pit. To trap you up in the system and to keep you here. So the next step in the agenda is to fully implement the mark of the beast, which is the microchip. All right. But, like I mentioned before in these movies, it goes to show you that, this is the technology that Esau has set up to track every single person here on the soils of America. All right. And he's making it worldwide. All right. That's why Scripture saying in Revelation say he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in their right hand or in their forehead. That's talking about everybody. All right. So when that time comes, when the mark of the beast is fully implemented, that's when the cities are going to be on complete lockdown. Because guess what? You're going to have the ones that's outside of this circle of the Lord, that's not in this truth. They're going to come up against the chip. They're going to fight against it, and they're going to rebel against this government. That's why you're going to see a complete anarchy. That's why Esau has been getting his troops together for urban warfare. All right, it's a reason why they've been conducting different drills on the streets, in the main cities. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the precepts. This is the book of Ephesians. Slacking. Book of Ephesians, the 2nd chapter, in the 2nd verse. It says, wherein in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air. All right. And Esau is known as the prince of the power of the air. Why? Because they have somewhat of a control, over the people, as far as the airways goes. All right. That's why all of their, if you notice, the majority of their warfare that they fight is from a distance, and everything is airborne. Also, too, you have your satellites, you have your radio signals. So that's why Esau is known as the prince of the power of the air, because he has control over the airwaves. You know, signals that are transmitted back and forth, between devices. And also, as far as warfare goes, also they have complete control over that too. You know, airborne warfare. All right. Reading on, it says the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience, and these especially our people, because it's also concerning 2/3 of our people, in which they're also among that as well. All right, they're known as the children of disobedience. Why? Because like the scripture says, it says they walk according to this world, to the course of this world, which is according to the prince of the power of the air, which once again is Esau, which again is the so-called white man. All right. Now I'm gonna jump from there. I know I quoted the scripture, but I want to grab it real quick. This is Revelation 13th chapter and the 16th verse. We all know it, but to bring it out for edification's sake, this Revelation 13th chapter and the 16th verse. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that's not talking about something that's in or something that's not physical. All right, this is literal. All right, this is up close and personal, because if you go further in the scripture, it speaks about the number, right? The number of the beast, which is 666. All right, which 6 is the number of man. All right, so also too, if you just read closely, it says it's going to be a mark that's going to be within your right hand or in your forehead. All right, so really it's physical, man. It's not a doctrine or Christianity or an embargo. All right, it's something that's physically implanted within the body. That's why Esau has been pushing forward on this agenda to get the chip rolling. That's why you're seeing more and more coverage on the microchip, on the mark of the beast. All right. Now I'm going from there. I'm gonna get the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter. Slack you. One moment. Okay, slack you. Daniel, the 12th chapter, in the first verse, it says, And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. All right, and that's talking about the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, so that time of trouble is going to come after the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip, is fully implemented, because that's going to be one of the very, very first steps to instill complete control over the people, in which really the mark of the beast is a major prophecy. All right, the way they're going to regulate it is by what? Martial law. All right, because again, like I mentioned before, you're going to have people that's going to fight against it. You're going to have the rebels of the society that's outside of the circle of ours, that's going to come up against it with arms. All right, that's why the scriptures say they shall rise up against the government, roughly paraphrasing, with swords in their hands. I'm gonna get there real quick, but I'm gonna get the book of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, and I'm gonna start at the 17th verse. It says, For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. All right, and the word insurrection means a rising up. All right, when you rise up against something, okay? Which insurrection comes from if I'm not mistaken, it comes from the word erect. With erect means to stand up or to stand firm or to rise up, which goes to the word insurrection. Okay, it says upon those that fear the Lord and the elect, the elect of the Lord, the elect of the nation of Israel are the ones that fear the Lord. All right, because 2/3 of our people are already gone, man. Because really, they don't fear our Lord, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and the Son, Yahweh Shai. All right. But guess what? They're going to be targeted as well. All right. Because that is the main enemy of the Edomites. All right. That's what, going back to the time of Jacob and Esau. All right. That same enmity between Jacob and Esau is still prevalent to this very day. That battle has never been settled with. All right. The two children and two sons of Jacob and Esau never stopped fighting. They're still fighting to this very day. All right. Now, verse 71 says, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. It says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. All right. And that's going to be during the time of martial law, right? Because everything is going to be regulated in that day. That's why you had certain, I forgot which bill was passed for. I think it was HR 30. I think it was 3032. If I'm not mistaken. I got to go back and fact check. I know I have it in my notes, but it was a bill that was signed by the previous president, Barack Obama, which gives the state complete control over all of your resources. Everything that you have, from your transportation, your water, your food, your gas, everything that you have belongs to them. And it can be enacted whenever there's a time of emergency. And that emergency could come in any form. All right. We always spoke about a false flag attack, which that is very likely that's going to happen, because they need the right incident. And this was quoted by one of the wicked elites. It said that it's only going to take one incident or one major event for them to enact their New World Order agenda. I don't remember which one of them it was, one of the bankers that said that, but that is what they want. All right. Now, verse 73 said, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. All right. Because the elect, the chosen out of the nation of Israel, is not going to take the mark of the beast, which was once again the microchip. All right. Now I want to jump back to 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, and slack it. Slack it. Bear with me for 1 second. All right, 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter and the 14th verse. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. See, is one people going to stand up to fight against another people. All right. Because guess what? Even in the midst of all this that's going on, there's going to be a race war. All right. It's going to be every man to his own people. All right. Why is that? And that's why you hear a term called racial tension. You know, that's why they've been basically, or should I say, the vibration between the nations or the races are coming against each other. Why? Because the spirit of Yahweh, this is the spirit and the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua that this is happening. All right. For prophecy, for the sake of His word to be fulfilled, for the sake of prophecy. You know, people disregard prophecy as a fairy tale and something that's far-fetched and something that's made up because they don't believe. And also, too, because they can't see it. All right, because the Lord really did a number on these people, man, especially the 2/3 of our people, man. You know, they can't see the prophecies, which really comes down to being spiritual. And Jake is just not spiritual. All right, I'm talking about 2/3. All right, so it says, verse 15 says, for the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. See? So there's going to be sedition among men and invading one another, man. In other words, like I mentioned before, every man for himself. All right. Now, verse, it's like I'm not done reading verse 16 just yet. It says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, which is their government, right? The president, current president. All right. Their ruling governing body. They're not going to regard them in that day. All right. It's going to be a complete anarchy, and it's going to be a disregard of the law, or their law, that's set up here in America. All right. It said, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So it's going to be absolutely nothing that the police force can do. All right. Why is that? Because in that day, you know, they're gonna completely disregard, you know, the police force, you know, in these the opposition, and take matters into their own hands. You know, they're gonna think that, well, since the government ain't cutting it, you know, we're gonna do it ourselves. That's gonna be a literal thing. Society, as you know, is gonna change, man. All right, one way or another, whether the people want it to happen or not. Okay. Verse 17 says, a man shall desire to go into the city. It's like it. A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. See, and this place, and the people that lived here in this place has fully indulged themselves in great pride. All right. So because of their pride, you know, thinking that America was this golden city that nobody can ever come up against it, and this is the best place to be. Guess what? Because of their pride and the statements like that, the cities shall be troubled, right? And the Lord's going to make that happen. Okay. Now, bear in mind, you had Egypt thinking that they weren't going to be troubled or go down. Guess what? The Lord brought heavy plagues on Egypt. All right. And it says, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And guess what? It's going to be a famine in that day. All right. That's why it's going to come a point in time where, once again, like I mentioned before about the bill that was signed by the late President Barack Obama, that your food is going to be rationed off. All right. Why? Because of the lack of bread. Okay. And it says, and for great tribulation. So that's pretty much it on this video and this lesson. You know, like I mentioned before, just making a reference towards the movie Enemy of the State. We're the real enemies, man, of Esau. All right. Esau has always looked at us as enemies. And guess what? He's in that day, he's going to make it well known that he is our enemy. Okay? He was never for us from the beginning, and he never will be. That same brotherly hatred that he had towards us, going all the way back to the birth of Jacob and Esau, is still rooted in these Edomites. And Jacob's going to learn real soon who their enemy is, man. All right? You know, with showing of the different technology that they have, you know, in that day, man, you know, only the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to be able to deliver us in that day. You know, like movies like that show you how much control Esau has over the society. All right? From your facial recognition to your satellites covering the skies, all right, to your smartphones, your vehicles, even your vehicles carry satellite signals. All right? The technology in your car now is your car has to be fitted with a certain computer system. All right. So once again, Lord's will is edifying to the body of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, the members of the hopefully elect. Until next time, once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Yahweh Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles.